In just a moment, you're going to be listening to excerpts from one of Amazon's best-selling authors' books. To get the full-length audio or written version, click on the links found inside of the description area on this page. Overcoming situational depression. Situational depression arises when we experience tragedy or rapid changes in our life that prove to be difficult to deal with. Every person is affected by a traumatic event to a certain extent, regardless of who the person is and what he or she is like. Therefore, when coping with situational depression, it's important that you understand you're not abnormal or crazy for feeling the way that you do. You aren't at fault, and there are always opportunities for you to overcome your condition. An important first step in overcoming situational depression is to learn how to cope with tragedy and trauma, given that these are the very things that give rise to the condition in the first place. It may be difficult to do this without help, so here are some important things to know when dealing with stressful events. Each person responds differently. Be aware that every person deals with trauma differently. Therefore, it's vital that you don't try to compare yourself with other people. Don't think of yourself as a lesser person because you see other people recovering quicker than you or dealing with the trauma more effectively than you are. Coping is not a competition, and turning it into one will only cause more frustration and difficulty. Accept the tragic event. Accept that the tragic event occurred. Though it may seem easier and more tempting to stay in denial, there can be no progress without first recognizing the reality of what has happened to you. Full acceptance can also give a clearer and fuller view of the internal struggle you are facing and the range of emotions that you are trying to deal with. This way, you are able to address the entire problem rather than just portions of it. It's not your fault. Most of the time, the tendency of people who survive a traumatic event is to blame themselves for what happened. This is commonly referred to as survivor's guilt. However, this guilt is often unfounded. Tragic events can befall us whether we play a hand in them or not, and blaming ourselves for what happened isn't going to help us recover from the process. It also won't bring back what we've lost. Accepting that these events arise from forces out of our control will help ease the pain of the situation and will help us be better able to cope with what has happened to us. This concludes the sample. To get the full-length audio or written version, go to the description area now and click on the appropriate link.